I think with any new technology, the two things I've noticed that always breaks things out is either something that makes people rich quick,
Yeah.
or something that is just ridiculous and fun.
Yeah.
Those are something that helps people find relationships, lovers, whatever. Those are the things that tends to break out.
Back at it again. Foreign gems.
For gems.
How are you doing, huh?
I am doing pretty good. It's the first few days after Easter.
First few days after Easter, you had a
Yeah.
good time hanging out with friends and family?
Yeah, I had family visit for the first time since I've been in Canada.
Wow, that's actually...
Celebrated Easter with family for the first time since 17.
That's a milestone right there.
Yeah.
Since you were 17 years old, by the way, right?
Yeah.
Not 2017?
No, 17 years old, yeah.
Damn. Yeah, it's been a while.
Sacrifices make, you know.
When was the last time you saw this particular group?
Before the pandemic,
Okay.
2019. Actually, when the pandemic started, we just didn't know it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So 2019, December.
Yeah. It's kind of wild how everybody changes and grows up
Oh yeah.
so quickly.
Yeah.
It feels probably the same pre-pandemic to post-pandemic, but then you look at some of the, especially the younger ones, you know?
Oh, they're so different.
Yeah.
The questions they're asking me now, I'm just like, I can't answer the same ways because, you know, you have to answer questions like you're just talking to kids normally.
Yeah.
But now they are kids still, but they are a lot
They're
more
older
aware.
now.
Yeah,
They're
so I
old.
can't give them things that would insult their intelligence.
Yeah.
I have to answer more intelligently for them.
You gotta adjust for the new audience.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. That's great. That's always great to spend time with family. I'm glad that you got to do that. I'm looking forward to my next opportunity to spend some time with family. It's been a little while for me, about a year since the last time I was home now. And every time I go back, it's such a big change, especially on the younger kids. So, you know, I want to make it more of a thing that I go back, you know,
Yeah.
once a year at least to just make sure I'm staying connected.
Yeah, that's always a good idea. How did you spend yours?
I spent mine mainly with my roommates and spent it with some friends as well. So that was pretty good. I enjoyed that. We have a new roommate now. Who's actually a listener of the pod, which is nice.
Yeah.
He's from Mexico, so he's a foreign gem. So he's out here. But
Didn't he inspired one of our last episodes?
yeah, he was the one who was giving me feedback on filler words.
Yeah.
And he noticed that I say yeah a lot while you're speaking. He's like, yeah, it sounds like you're really interested, but you say yeah like about 1,000 times an episode. I was like, oh man, I gotta think about that. I didn't realize that was happening so much.
That was
But
actually, listening back to past episodes was actually what inspired today's topic.
yeah, exactly right.
Did you want to introduce that? And then
Yes,
I would say,
I'll be happy to introduce this topic. So today we're going to talk about something that we're both newly, I don't know, should we say newly passionate about? It's definitely more of a trend right now. I think it's going to stick around, unlike, it's not a fad. This is something that's actually going to stick around and actually change the way things are. It's really funny because maybe I'll introduce it first and then we'll start commenting on what's funny about it. But today we're going to be talking to you about AI in kind of a general way. Full disclosure, none of us are experts in it. We've just played around with it so far and we see the potential there. And so we wanted to have an episode kind of early on to talk about some of the ways we've been using it, but as well about some of the potential that we see in all of it. But the thing I wanted to mention before I introduced this topic and I was going to go down a rabbit hole was it's kind of interesting how there was this whole like blockchain craze. For me, I caught wind of it in 2017 or so. It had been around for a bit longer before that. I think the first Bitcoin was maybe printed in maybe 2012, maybe even a little bit before that. So it had been around, but it wasn't a big thing that everybody knew about, that you were hearing about at Christmas parties or whatever until around 2017. And that's when I could see the blockchain application in so many different things all at once. And then it very quickly just became mostly the crypto aspect of blockchain that became the popular thing. And if you hear about any blockchain news, chances are it's really crypto related at the moment. There are still companies like innovating with blockchain in certain spaces. like this potential in the medical field, for example, when it comes to like personal health data, and things like the finance world obviously can benefit from something like a blockchain where the information is verified by multiple sources. And I think lawyers, that was like a big thing there, where a document, for example, can be tracked through and you can know the exact latest version of a document because of a blockchain application kind of securing that. But very quickly, these applications kind of fell away from the spotlight, and crypto became the main application I kept hearing about. I don't know if that's the same for you.
Yeah.
Right? So, but with this AI thing, it seems like it's definitely here to stay, and it's less of just like a money-making scheme, but rather like a value generation scheme. I think it's something that's going to revolutionize kind of the way we work and the way we add value to our day-to-day jobs. I think it actually makes us a lot more productive.
Right.
But of course, there's the opposite side of that, which is the fear that it will take over your job, for example. And so, yeah, this is a timely episode. We talked a little bit with Nene, our previous guest, on episode 5 about AI and how he was applying it to kind of the finance world and how it can be applied there. But this is more of a general discussion about what we've seen so far.
Yeah. I totally agree with all you've said. I'll add more color to some of those things.
Yeah.
But we was listening to the Nene's episode, and I realized, a lot of topics we've covered has been our experience so far, what we've done.
Yep.
And I don't want this for me to be like preachy, like we know all the answers. It's almost like a tool of exploration. So I was like, let's talk about something we actually don't know much about, something that we're all figuring out in real time. We can all learn together. Maybe people can answer some of our questions, concerns that we have as well.
Yeah.
So this is the episode where we are clueless on what we're talking about.
We're very entry level here, and I'm sure there's people out there, perhaps even listening, who have a much better command of everything AI that's going on so far.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, Ola, how have you used it so far? What's been your favorite application of this new technology, and how has it added value to your life in general? It doesn't have to be career related, but like however you've been using it.
I'll start with adding color to what you said earlier on about how, don't worry, it will tie back, about how crypto, ended up becoming the breakout application, in quotes, of blockchain. And now AI is, the craze.
Yep.
I think with any new technology, the two things I've noticed that always breaks things out is either something that makes people rich quick, or something that is just ridiculous and fun.
Yeah.
Those are something that helps people find relationships, lovers, whatever. Those are the things that tend to
do well.
To break out. For crypto, people were becoming millionaires overnight, so that was attractive. That was attractive. People were selling JPEGs and making money. That made that helped that wave. And for crypto, for AI, first it was the generative images, the DALL-E and Mid-Journey, Stable Diffusion.
Did you hear about those ones first?
I heard about DALL-E first,
okay.
But there was already Stable Diffusion. I was seeing people use them, Stable Diffusion and Mid-Journey, but I didn't really know too much about it.
Yeah, do you want to introduce what those are a little bit?
Yeah, so they are generative AI. It's just an AI application that helps you generate something based on a prompt. Okay. So you type what you want, and then you get a result. So in the case of DALL-E, Mid-Journey, and Stable Diffusion, you put in the input, and then you say, I want a picture of a cat and a dog as best friends on a sunny day, drawn in the style of Van Gogh, and you get a result that looks like that.
So prompt to image, right?
Prompt to image. And
that's the same thing with Stable Diffusion. I haven't heard of that one yet.
Yeah, exactly. But they all have their different ecosystem. Like DALL-E is owned by OpenAI, who also made ChatGPT.
Yep.
So they do have an API that you can use, but it started as an open company, but lately it's become very proprietary, like it's closed.
You got bought, right?
No, not bought, but they got investors.
Okay.
And, but I think Microsoft is like the majority owned. Yeah.
I remember that
majority
being a bit
investor,
of
something like that. Yeah.
I heard that being a bit of a controversial thing because like the whole idea, the reason it was even called open AI is the open source nature of it.
Exactly.
And the not-for-profit nature of it.
That's what it's supposed
to be. Then I guess if you have these controlling interests, and I thought I heard it was bought, but it could have just been like a sizable investment which can function like being bought.
Right.
Putting some controls over what you can put out for free versus not, and like when is this going to turn into revenue, and thus that return on investment for some of the investors that can cloud the direction a little bit. But the mission is interesting. It's to give people access to this very powerful tool.
Yeah. Their mission is to democratize the ownership of AI.
Mm-hmm.
That was the original mission, and apparently that's still what it is.
Yep.
They have a weird structure where it's divided into two entities. So there's the non-for-profit, which owns the for-profit version.
Okay.
So the for-profit version has investors, and they only can get back a certain amount of profit. Okay. So once it's capped, everything goes back to the non-for-profit.
Oh, that's interesting.
So
that's an interesting model.
I don't know the exact amount, but it's not like an unlimited capitalist structure.
Right.
So, but it's still questionable in the short term to get to that return on investment. But anyways, that's debatable. There's Midjourney, which works mostly, as of when I tried it last, it works mostly on Discord.
Yeah.
If you're not very familiar with Discord, it's like a clunky process, but the result is out of this world.
Yeah. And I've not messed around with it personally, Midjourney, but I've been very interested in website design.
Yeah.
As a result of me going self-employed. So I've been looking at ways that I can speed up a design process and like how you can, put layouts together and maybe have a prompt for which colors you want your theme to be with, and then include a prompt for the type of website that you're looking for, and then continue to generate it until you get some layouts that you can use. You can't just like copy paste that layout then directly into a builder. You still have to do some work, but the visual part of it is getting done for you, and you can change whatever it is that you like. This looks a little bit too professional, too serious. Perhaps like let's go for something that's a little bit more playful or something like that. And you can use keywords like that to change the style that you're getting as a result of some of your previous inputs as well. Super interesting stuff.
Yeah, Stable Diffusion is the last one.
Yeah.
So that's the most exciting one, I think, because it's the one that is currently using the mission that OpenAI had initially. So they are the one that are more open source. There's a lot of people building on top of them. So almost any exciting product that you see in the AI space that isn't directly from OpenAI, e.g. ChatGPT, it mostly came from a build on top of Stable Diffusion.
Okay, that's
so
interesting.
There's the interior AI. There's this guy, Peter Levels, is like, he's the nomad list guy.
Yep.
So he has like a bunch of ideas. He's always creating things out of this rapid pace.
Yep.
And he has a bunch of projects out. He has the, I think, interior AI, which you can take a picture of your living room or wherever space, and then it generates an AI imagination of
AI
whatever design you have.
That's amazing.
Photo avatar AI. It has a bunch of AI projects, and they are built on Stable Diffusion.
Gotcha. So Stable Diffusion isn't something like a website where you can go on, or is it?
No. I think it mostly, I'm not too sure, to be honest. I've used APIs that people have built on top of it. That's been my entry point to Stable Diffusion. I'm actually learning APIs again now.
Yeah.
I knew them from university, but I forgot. And this AI thing, is making me want to get into programming like a lot more seriously again.
Me too, man. I've been thinking a lot about programming, trying to learn Python for the first time.
Yeah, Python is fun.
Yeah, and it's kind of a lot more intuitive. Like when I was in school, I learned C++.
Right.
So
if you know C++, then
it helps structurally and things like that, and there's less admin work when it comes to syntax and things like that. So I'm enjoying this re-dive into programming and things like that, but I'm still very entry level. I'm not applying it in any way yet. I'm still trying to. It's almost like refreshing at the moment.
Yes, pseudocode is what you start learning,
Yeah.
typically they recommend if you want to learn programming, and Python is like very close to pseudocode.
Right. Okay. Okay. So let's switch gears from when we talked about some image generative AI. Those three options are there. I know that you've used one of them for sure. So let's talk a little bit about application. So you mentioned this story a little bit in a previous episode about the avocado chair, and Midjourney was a part of that, right?
Oh yeah.
So let us know. Like I haven't used
Yeah.
Midjourney before. So how would somebody like me get started with doing something like that?
Yeah, I think it works better when you're very clear on what you want to do.
Okay.
Like I see AI as like a very intelligent teenager. Like it knows so much on how to do something,
Yeah.
but it needs what to do. It needs to know what to do in the first place. So for the avocado chair, like I still made mistakes. Like the first few prompts were not very great. But yeah, I just wrote down what I think I want it to be. I want a chair that looks shaped like an avocado, but also comfortable.
Yeah.
Leather. Then I put the colors that I wanted. Then high definition, realistic markup. Like I created that, and then I use Midjourney's free version, which it was in Discord. So
Okay.
you have to type it in there. Everyone can see what you create,
Yep.
and then it gives you like 4 versions, and then you click on which one you like, and you can create more variations of that. And then if you're satisfied with any of them, and then you click and you get a higher definition and download that.
The fact that it uses Discord is super interesting. It might be a great place to just hang out, even get inspiration from other people's prompts.
For sure.
Like whatever other people are generating for images, everything is in like it's almost like in a text thread, and you can see everybody's prompts and how they're changing their prompts. A good way probably to even learn how to prompt engineer in a way.
Yeah.
Get closer to what it is you're looking for. You can see some other users using it. I definitely want to spend more time on it. I already have Discord, so really it's just a matter of getting the right server on there.
You got it spot on. That's the if you don't know much about AI, especially image, generative AI for images, Midjourney, Discord is the place. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Let's talk about something where most people are probably going to be familiar with, which is ChatGPT. Have you been using it so far?
I've used it to speed my learning for my programming again.
Okay. Okay. Tell your story, and I'll see if it matches what I was about to say about the same thing.
So you can tell it, create an app that does blah blah blah.
Yep.
And it would do it for you, but most of the time there's a lot of errors.
And
So-
how does it print the result? Like that? Say you've asked it to create this app. Does it print it as like code, or does it print like what's the end result?
I find it's not always consistent. Sometimes you give it like a step by step, like go to this website, go to this, go to that, and then sometimes it would print out the code. And yeah, I think if you keep prompting it to like, no, I want you to create it, it would keep telling you back that I'm an AI, I can't create stuff, but this is how I do it.
Yeah.
So it's like the more you push it to create it for you, the more it will get you the results closest to it creating it without actually creating it.
The thing.
So
Interesting.
I find action prompts work better.
Okay. So you've been using it to actually do some of the coding as well.
To get inspiration.
Okay.
So that's the thing. That's why I said the smart teenager. Like it does what it thinks it wants, but it's not always smart.
Yep.
So you still need a foundation of programming to understand. Okay, I didn't think about it this way. Then this is where I put it.
Okay.
So that's the thing. It's a great assistant, but don't just take what it gives you and use it. It might work sometimes, but in my experience, it hasn't worked for me one-to-one like that.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So that's not the direction I thought you were gonna go with that answer.
What did you think I was gonna say?
So I thought you had been using it for your programming, kind of similar to how I had been using it. So when I started thinking about programming again and coding, I didn't really know where to begin. So this is where ChatGPT can be kind of helpful, because you can prompt it in a way that it curates the answer to match the problem that you're trying to solve. So one of the most useful prompts you can use for ChatGPT is act as a X,
Right.
and do Y. And in that case, it'll kind of take the point of view of X. So for me, for example, it was act as an entrepreneur trying to learn programming for the purpose of creating value. That's the prompt that I gave it, or something similar to that. And then to follow up that prompt, so this is all in one sentence. It's like, design a study plan that is 10 weeks long that'll get me caught up in Python and the latest practices of Python. Something along those lines, maybe not word for word, but yeah, so act is X, Y, this is what I'm trying to do. And it actually spits out like a study plan, complete with weeks. So it'd be like week 1 to 2, learn the fundamentals of Python. And then it shoots out like in bullet points, like this is what you're gonna learn, and this is where you can get a resource for it. And so it'll have like links to everything. Now the links, like one of the drawbacks with ChatGPT as it is now is that it uses information that is up to a certain date.
Yeah,
and I believe
2021.
2021 is
like
the
October or something
for the public one available right now, right?
Yeah.
So there's a bit of a limitation there, in which case it might give you some outdated information, or there could be better resources out there. But it gives you an excellent place to start. And then furthermore, like if you prompt it the exact way I was just saying, it'll give you just a bunch of different resources that are from anywhere. So it could be like a course, it could be a YouTube video, blah, 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 just a bunch of stuff. But you can change the prompt so that it's a little bit more closer to what it is you're looking for. So say you're just curious and you don't want to invest a lot of money into it.
Yeah.
So you could say, please include only free resources as a follow-up to that first response. And it'll do that again, just like change all of the resources so they're all free. Or if you prefer to learn, through blogs, to say, please change all the resources so that they're blogs, and it'll give you only blog resources or video, whatever is the way that you like to learn. Amazing way to kind of get your hands dirty. And then when it comes to practicing some of this stuff, ChatGPT can be super useful there as well, because you can say, okay, I've completed weeks 1 to 2, so it has an idea of where you are in terms. It's like, then please list out a list of like 10 projects that I can build with this much knowledge. And then it'll give you some project ideas, which allow you to then apply some of the information so that it actually sticks. Because when you're trying to learn something quickly, you might just download a bunch of information and never use it.
Practice is the way,
But you need to do the projects to actually apply what you've learned. So I find it super useful as a tutor almost, and then prompting it in the right direction for how you like to learn and for your specific situation. Another thing I forgot to mention earlier is like when you mention how long you have to learn something. So like say you say, I have 10 weeks to learn this programming thing. It'll split it out in those chunks. And then you can go as specific as, I can dedicate 2 hours a day to learning this. And it will change the study plan so that it matches the amount of time that you have, like long term, the amount of time you have per day, and like where you're trying to get with your programming. Pretty incredible stuff. You can do it with, I don't know, pretty much anything, I imagine, as long as the resources are online.
Oh, yeah.
But that's one of the things that I remember smiling when I was looking at this thing, because I was like, this is going to take me a long time to curate myself and also pace it in a way where I'm like learning something that adds on to the thing I learned before. So this kind of does it all for you and sets out like a plan for you. Yeah. Have you used it in that way yet?
Yeah, I've used it for a lot of things. Yeah. Like almost every day I just have like a stupid idea and I'll be like, let me just see what this thing can do. Yeah. I was telling someone I haven't played any of my video games since January because AI has been my video game.
Yeah, new game.
Yeah, that's all I've been playing with. I haven't created much serious stuff. Yeah. But the recent example that was actually very useful was when my family came last week. I used it to create itinerary. However, it was completely wrong. It's recommending restaurants that have shut down years ago, things that didn't make sense. However, it gave me the framework. Yeah. It's like, this is what you should do on Friday, on Saturday. You might also want to consider that this is Vancouver, it rains a lot. I was like, oh my God, yes, thank you. I didn't think about that.
Thank you for considering that.
Yeah, so you might want to
do some indoor things.
Make versions of your plan that accounts for indoor versus outdoor. I was like, okay, I didn't think about that. Yeah. The places you're recommending are totally wrong. Yeah. However, smart teenager.
This is very spot on about rain.
I was like, yeah, so it was helpful in that way. So I use it as a framework, and you fill in the blanks yourself based on your own intelligence or experience, I guess.
Speaking of frameworks, one application, I did not use this yet, so I don't know how well it works, okay? So take this with a grain of salt. But one application I've seen is resume and how you can change it up or keep it up to date and things like that. So you can literally write roles and responsibilities that you've had in certain jobs and ask it to write a resume based on that, and it'll do that for you. You can also upload your resume and ask it to kind of improve it or like write it in a different way or a different tone, and it'll change some of the inputs for that. Don't go ahead and do this and send it in without checking some of this stuff. You definitely want to be the last person to edit it, but it gives you a place to start, which is mostly what we need. I remember in my full-time gig, the hardest thing about certain projects was just having some sort of fodder that we could all work around.
Right.
Like just some sort of basic plan. Say we were trying to do a campaign. We just need a basic layout, understand the components that we need to flesh out. And then now that we have the stepping stone, we can do a lot of work on top of that, right?
Yeah.
So it's really helpful for that as well. It's just giving you bullet points for something. Like if you're trying to write a blog post or something like that and you don't know how to structure it, you can ask it to give you a nice framework, like you were mentioning with the itinerary, that then you go fill out with actual information that, is coming from you and is original.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's great for unstructured data. If you have a data somewhere and just trying to make sense of it and you don't even know what questions to ask, just fit it the data and then fit it the end goal. It's good at figuring out the in-between for you. So that's things like, these are all my skills. If you're trying to figure out your career, like this is what I definitely would have done like 7 years ago when I didn't know what I wanted to do. I'm good at Photoshop. I'm good at this. I'm good at that. What are some good career options? And then, like you said, give it that modifier. I only want to work remotely. I only want to do this. What can I do? It would give you very good career options. It's not a prescription. It doesn't mean you have to go do it. But now you have ideas. It gives you something to think about, and you can actually do more research. And you can use ChatGPT to do more research, ask more questions on those things, and
it's like a basic career coach in a way.
Yeah, it's everyone's personal assistant. Every new technology that comes out it's funny. Every new technology makes the people of like 10 years before look like all peasants.
It's true though. So much hard manual work.
Like before Uber, you either have to drive, take bus or whatever. Now everyone has their own personal chauffeur technically. You don't need to have a cook. It's only before it used to be like rich people that have their own personal chefs and stuff. Now you can just order Uber Eats, DoorDash every single day if you want to. Like anything you can think of right now with the gig economy, you have your own personal one. Like I don't have a Tesla, but I take Uber almost everywhere I go.
It's kind of like having a Tesla and a driver.
And in Vancouver, they're mostly always Tesla. So it's like you have a Tesla, you have a chauffeur. You get what I mean? Like you're leaving, like
basically.
So your life of like 5 years ago is like, oh, I was a peasant. And that's how it is with AI now. Before you're rich, you have a VA, you have assistants, you have all these things.
Exactly.
Now everyone has their own personal assistant. That's what ChatGPT and all this AI creates for us.
Okay, so this is a good segue into, we've talked about a lot of the positive aspects of how we've been using it positively. But what does it mean for companies maybe? What does it mean for people in the workforce if it's so easy to get access to a fairly intelligent assistant, but maybe one that can't do everything all at once? Is there a danger to jobs in the market, a whole entire sector is just being replaced by something like this? What are your thoughts there?
They say like history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. And I feel like we've been here before so many over and over again. Oh, thanks. I don't know. I think all of the best, visionaries or inventors, they are also like great students of history. And someone told me that a long time ago. I can't remember the person. And that's what I just go by. Just look at the history, like Industrial Revolution, agricultural, like just all the phases we've been in, mobile apps, mobile phones, smartphones. Like every new generation of new, revolutionary tech, we lose a lot of jobs. We lose a lot of things we do. But it gives us better jobs. Like in Africa, there are people that still stand at the gas station that are filling your tanks.
Yep.
In Mexico as well, they still do that.
Yeah.
In Canada, that's a job that no one has to do. I don't think anyone is complaining that I have to stand, I lost my job of standing in the middle of, in the winter, filling people's tanks. You get what I mean?
That's true.
Like automation gives people higher level job. Even like McDonald's and Tim's, they have automated things right now. I remember when I was working at Tim's, everyone was like complaining like, oh, it's going to take the low level jobs. But really, did you really enjoy like counting change for customers? Did you really enjoy remembering 10 large double doubles and all those things people are ordering?
Right.
It just gives you more better job in whatever.
10 large double doubles.
10 large double doubles. Oh, for non-Canadian folks, that's like a Canadian thing for Tim's. Double cream, double sugar, I think.
Yeah.
No, I know, but some people call it milk, double milk, double sugar.
Don't recommend
Double cream, double sugar.
drinking 10 double doubles back to back.
Well, I mean, group order, not
group
one
order.
person. Please don't drink
Don't
that
do that.
yourself.
Don't do that. We're not advocating that, but share with your friends.
It gives you a better job. Even when I worked at Tim's, like they would just, bring some new machine that replaces something that we're doing manually. Before you start to like measure the sugar, and then all of a sudden we came with this short machine. You press a button, it picks the right amount of sugar in the thing. All you have to do every morning is just fill in the sugar. So the manager, you're not like having to train employees on the right amount of sugar to put. All you have to do is just make sure that it's filled at the right time. Like the jobs just evolve.
Gets better for you.
Yeah, it just gets better for everyone. Everyone becomes promoted in a way.
What I'm hearing in a lot of what you're saying is that these types of revolutions or these types of changes actually allow people to get that one step closer to self-actualization.
100%.
You're not really fully expressing yourself when you're doing some of those more clerical type activities. And I'm not knocking anybody who's doing that, but I don't think anybody aspires to do that forever, unless you do, in which case, power to you, and maybe AI is going to challenge you a little bit. But most people want to accomplish something else that they can add their unique kind of spin to.
Yeah.
And what I foresee tools like ChatGPT and beyond, like this is like our first iteration, who knows what we'll see later on. But I think it allows us to spend more of our energy on the activities that we uniquely bring some value to, rather than ones that could be replaced by something like a
Even
ChatGPT.
the things we enjoy, I would say. Because if you want to do the, in quote, low-level activities, great, you can still do them now.
You can do that.
Then you can use AI to outsource the other things you don't enjoy.
Automate that time.
That might technically be higher-level activity for you. You know what I mean? Like it makes us all spend less time on things we don't enjoy.
I'll have a great example for that I use ChatGPT for. You ready to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been experimenting with like different diets, and I don't mean like necessarily giving up certain aspects of food or whatever, just like reducing
like
certain things.
and stuff,
Yeah. So one of the things I'm trying to reduce is like carbs. So what I used ChatGPT for was to design a meal plan. And it's excellent at doing this, by the way, because some of this information is timeless. Like you don't want to go ask it what the score for, I don't know, the Real Madrid game was yesterday. It's not going to know because of that time stamp that it has the information for. But nutrition values for food, they've always stayed the same. Like an egg in 2021 is an egg in 2023.
Right.
So like you can ask it about different foods and whatnot. So I asked it to just create a meal plan. And it created a meal plan. Like, so I had like my calorie input. I was like, I want X amount of calories per day, and the meal should be like mostly focused on proteins and fats, blah, blah, blah. And then it gave me like a meal plan, right? Then I asked it again, on top of that, to put all of that into a shopping list, and it just generated a full shopping list for you. And so these are things I don't necessarily want to spend time thinking about.
Nutritionist.
I've just made the decision, okay, I want to cut these things out or like lower the intake of these things.
Yeah.
I'd just like some suggestions, and then I'd also like it to be made easy for me to shop. That's my end goal. So I don't necessarily want to spend time doing all of the research or whatever. And that's where I really see like the benefits. It's like it allows me to then spend that time that I was going to spend trying to figure this stuff out on something that I actually enjoy doing,
Yeah, exactly.
And that resonates with what you're saying. It's like whatever you like doing, if it's going outside and taking walks, whatever, then you should embrace something that allows you to do that a little bit more. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would be careful with they call it in SEO, they call it the your money, your life categories.
Yeah.
For nutrition, like, yes, it's great for inspiration.
Yeah.
But, you know, if something doesn't feel right to you, probably go do more research.
Yeah.
You know, it's not gonna kill you for it to have a simple meal plan.
Yeah.
But if you're, I don't know, if you're diabetic or something, and you ask it to give you a meal plan that, you know, please, you know, do your research.
Yeah, make sure it aligns with the latest research on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I guess that's because it's just not there yet, in terms of that expertise. Like you're saying, it's like a teenager.
Yeah.
But who knows, in a few years, maybe it grows up even further and it's able to notice things like this. Like you might be able, one day you might not even go to a doctor's office. You might be able to just write the symptoms, send over like a picture or something like that, blah, blah, blah. And maybe diagnoses it for you right away, man. Who knows, just gives you a prescription. I don't know that it'll
We definitely might get there.
Right? It seems like one of the applications that are very possible with something like this.
It seems inevitable. It seems like we'll get there. See, I think that's what humans will become. Like, I don't think doctors' expertise is not to look at 20 pictures or whatever and be able to, of scans or whatever, and then pick out what's wrong with the person. Their expertise is to use their judgments based on the information they're given.
Right.
So, like, once again, the low-level stuff, you know what I mean? Like,
can be done.
I think ChatGPT, or well, not ChatGPT, but whatever AI can help, like, doctors flag something that they should go look further into, as opposed to them spending hours and hours.
Yeah. And also, I think too, like, analyzing big amounts of data. This is why I really like the application for like law firms, for example, or even for doctors, like, who are treating a patient over a long period of time. It might be able to spot certain patterns that you just can't spot because you're usually thinking on a much smaller time frame. Maybe you saw your patient last 3 months ago, so you're comparing their condition now to 3 months ago. But if you've got this tool that has the ability and endless energy to look into this person for like the entire duration they've been coming to you, perhaps it spots certain things that you would have missed and just makes everybody better at their jobs. Doesn't necessarily replace the doctor full time, because their expert opinion is still valued, but it just helps them maybe even get to certain suggestions for you, or revelations about what's going on with you. Like, I like it in general, but there are some things where I'm like, let's just drive slowly on this one a little bit and like consider all the possibilities, all the outcomes. Yeah,
unstructured data is definitely where it thrives that humans don't.
Yep.
You know, I don't know if you mentioned, but I thought I heard you say the bias aspect. You know, if you give it structured data, by definition, it's already structured in a type of way. So you don't get a very interesting answer. Yeah. But when you give it data that is just it's just a dump, a mess, that's when it surprises you. That's when you think of things you could never even possibly imagine. And then you can use your human judgments to see if it's something you want to take seriously or discard.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm very curious about how everybody else is also using this. So as per the usual, we have an Instagram now. So when posts are, like, when an episode comes out, please hop in the comments and let's have a discussion there. We'll be there. Love to chat a little bit more about some of the topics that we discussed, especially this one. I'm super kind of curious about this world right now. So any use cases you've seen, any applications, any prompts that you want to share with the team, let us know. We'd be happy to join you in a conversation there.
We've actually had Instagram from day one. You didn't even know that.
I didn't even know that.
But we haven't, we have other things that we're doing. Right now, it's not a job. It's not a business. No. It's just a hobby for us right now.
It's a good time, man.
Yeah, so
I look forward to these.
We are not, putting as much time into these other avenues that we could. We have Twitter as well. I think that one is called Foreign Gems Pod. Yeah. And Instagram is podcast. So either podcast, one of the two. Yeah. We have the names everywhere. So your encouragement allows us to post more. Yeah. As I mentioned before, someone requested that we start posting on YouTube. We start posting on YouTube.
Did it.
If you're engaging with our content on Instagram, we'll start posting more there. If you don't engage, then we're like, okay, cool. This is not a channel.
We'll take the hint as well.
Take the hint. Oh yeah, this is probably a good time to thank people for the support so far. There's
been
been
great.
a lot of positive encouragement.
So encouraging to hear.
It's great. You know, we had a goal of just one listener,
Yeah.
and we've beat that goal by a crazy amount.
Yeah, I love it.
So this has been successful,
Yeah.
in quotes.
We've already won. Now we're gonna want to see where it goes.
Yeah. So thanks for all the support, and this is great. We're having fun. We're only just getting started.
Yeah, we're only getting started, so I appreciate that. Appreciate all the support, like Ola said. If there's one ask I have of you and you're enjoying this and you even made it this far in this episode, please share with somebody else who you think would enjoy it.
Yeah.
Hit us up with a nice 5-star review, you know, so we start showing up all over the place. And yeah, maybe even more people can join the community and talk a little bit more about like all of these topics we keep mentioning.
Oh yeah, and we own the brand name now for Foreign Gems Podcast on Google.
Huge
We're
win.
considered an entity, so that's good.
Yeah.
Google takes us seriously now.
Progress.
We've
is
made
what
it.
That is. I love to see it. Ola, thanks as always for spending time chatting these topics. I always enjoy these sessions. And to everybody else, we'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah, have a great week.